I am 33 years old and am getting married next year in April to my fiancé, Wes. We've been best friends for 10 years, and we started dating 6 years ago. He proposed to me a year ago, and we recently decided on the wedding date. When we started to tell our parents about our plans, that's when things started to get complicated. First, the backstory. My parents, William, who is 63 years old, and Christelle, who is 62 years old, divorced 10 years ago. My mom had an affair 15 years ago, and my dad forgave her. We didn't know about this until after the divorce. However, their marriage was not the same afterward. My dad met someone else 10 years ago, started an affair, and my mom kicked him out. She played the victim and tried to get me and my brothers, Thomas, who is 32 years old, and Nicholas, who is 36 years old, to abandon our dad for what he did. Although it hurt to see our parents get divorced, all three of us felt this was something between them. We never took sides in the divorce. I have always been a daddy's girl, so I kept very much in touch with my dad after the divorce. Very early on in the relationship, I met the affair partner, Ivy, who is 50 years old. We hit it off, as she was fun, caring, and very respectful toward my relationship with my dad, and I could tell they both loved each other very much. My dad married Ivy 6 years ago. I visit them almost every month, and we text and call regularly. I've been on holiday with them or weekend getaways several times. I also do girls' nights with my stepmother and her youngest daughter, who is 18 years old, on occasion. She's always accepted all three of us with open arms and has been there to help or offer advice when we needed it. I have a very good relationship with her and regard her as a second mom. However, I have always had somewhat of a difficult relationship with my mom, Christelle. She is a very stubborn woman and has always had a very harsh and hurtful way of expressing herself. She always hated the fact that I had a different body type than hers. Her family is very thin. My dad's family is heavier. On multiple occasions, she shamed me for my body and called me fat, using her own words. I still to this day have a very unhealthy self-image and hate to look in the mirror because of her comments. My mom has been dating someone, Mitchell, who is 64 years old, for the past 7 years, and he has made minimal effort to get to know me. I only visit them for the holidays or birthdays and don't have much contact with them otherwise. They also recently moved further away, a 3-hour drive, so our visits have lessened even more. My mom also said some very hurtful things about my fiancé when we first started dating, and I haven't forgiven her for that. My fiancé has autism, though it is very minor. She told me I should choose someone else who is normal, since the chance of having kids with autism is very likely. Both my brothers have autism. Nicholas has a mild form and Thomas has a severe form. She has since made an effort to get to know him better. There is much more that has made my relationship difficult with my mom, but I still try to maintain a relationship with her. She is still my mom. The relationship between my mom and dad is non-existent at the moment. My mom hasn't forgiven my dad for his affair, and she has made the divorce process difficult due to money issues. This has not made it easy for me and my brothers. Now to the issue of the wedding. My dad is giving me away, and I'm having a father-daughter dance. My eldest brother, Nicholas, is the master of ceremonies. He basically makes sure the day goes smoothly. My younger brother, Thomas, is my best man. I wanted to include my stepmother, as she is important to me, and invited her dress shopping. She was very excited and even told me she had been saving to pay for my wedding dress, ever since my partner Wes asked my dad for my hand in marriage, which was an unexpected surprise. Because my relationship with my mom isn't very good, I wanted to include her in the dress shopping as well as a bonding moment in hopes of bettering our relationship. I also asked my eldest brother Nicholas to come, so it wouldn't be just the two of them. Initially, my mom was very excited when we discussed the wedding and the dress shopping on the phone 2 weeks ago. A week later, she called me back, saying she didn't feel comfortable dress shopping with Ivy present. When I asked her why, she told me she wanted to keep it in the family. I was hurt by this because, to me, Ivy is family. This past week, I've talked to my dad, my stepmom, my brother, my fiancé, and even my psychologist about this. Everyone tells me it's my day, and I should choose what makes me happy. My stepmom even offered to withdraw. But I don't want that. I don't want to choose between them. I want both of them there. I called my mom again today and said I made my choice in who I want there for this important moment, as it is my day. I choose my stepmom Ivy, my eldest brother Nicholas, and her. It is up to them to choose to be present and share this important moment with me. My mom told me she could not share this with Ivy, as she believes it is something special between a mother and a daughter. So she won't come to the bridal boutique if I insist on inviting Ivy. I am devastated, hurt, angry, and have been crying all day. This is supposed to be a happy occasion for me, and right now, I just don't know what to do anymore. I feel like she is putting her problems with my dad, and Ivy by extension, before my emotions and wishes. Any advice? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I understand your mother's dislike for your stepmother. Her cheating doesn't really make your dad's cheating morally superior. Get a divorce if you're unhappy. Neither one is innocent here. Nonetheless, have you ever watched that show Say Yes to the Dress? I have seen a number of episodes throughout the years, and it's the saddest thing to witness when a bride-to-be is super excited about a dress and a toxic family member just criticizes it or criticizes the woman's body. Don't bring toxic people wedding dress shopping. Comment 2. You said your mother has body shamed you before and you have an unhealthy self-image now. I don't think I would want her around when shopping for the most important dress of your life. What if she criticizes your perfect dress? Especially when she finds out your stepmother will be contributing to the dress financially. Generally, I would side with mom and say to leave the stepmother behind. Not in your case. Your mother sounds toxic and likely to ruin your shopping day, even if your stepmother wasn't there. Now for the update. Just under a week after my last update, I was at home with Wes, my fiance, going over everything that went down with my mom. We were both super stressed, and even though we were supposed to be in wedding planning mode, we just needed a break. So, we decided to hit up this cute cafe nearby for breakfast and try to clear our heads. Honestly, I just wanted some pancakes and coffee at that point. While we were at the cafe, I got a text from my mom saying she wanted to talk. Yeah, not exactly what I wanted to read while trying to enjoy my omelet. Anyway, we agreed to meet her at the cafe later that day. And I had this mix of anticipation and concern, I was kind of hoping she wanted to sort things out, but I was also super nervous about what she was going to say. I got to the cafe first because I always get there early. I ordered some coffee, trying to calm my nerves, and just sat there waiting for my mom to show up. She walked in, looking all tense, but determined to make peace or whatever. I hope she was there to make peace. So we sat down, and she started going off about how weddings are supposed to be special. And I'm just sitting there thinking, really? Because you could have fooled me with all this drama you've been stirring up. I tried to explain that excluding Ivy felt unfair after all the support she's given me. Christelle just wouldn't get it. She kept insisting that Ivy isn't family and that she should be prioritized. I get that Ivy's my stepmom, but she's been there for me when my mom wasn't. Things got really heated when I mentioned my dad and how he supports Ivy. Christelle got all defensive and started going on about how the divorce hurt her and how Ivy was a reminder of that pain. I get it, but come on, this isn't about you. I tried to explain that my relationship with Ivy is different and important, but she wasn't having it. She accused me of not valuing our mother-daughter relationship. What does she expect? For me to just cut Ivy out because she's uncomfortable? I asked her to put aside her feelings for the day, just for the wedding, but she wasn't interested in that. Instead, she just got up and stormed out of the cafe, leaving me sitting there feeling frustrated and alone. Later that evening, I got a call from my dad. He mentioned that Christelle had been crying and felt neglected. I explained what happened at the cafe, and honestly, I was just so hurt by the whole conversation. My dad suggested that we all meet for dinner to talk things out, and I agreed because what else was I going to do? During dinner, my mom showed up, and the tension was just thick in the air. Ivy was there too, and I knew it was going to be a long night. My mom started off the conversation apologizing for her behavior at the cafe, which I was surprised by. I expressed my desire for everyone to be included in the wedding planning, and Ivy spoke up, saying she understood Christelle's feelings, but wanted to be part of the family. That's when my mom interrupted and said she didn't want to share that space with Ivy. I could just feel the tension rising as the dinner went on. I was trying to mediate between them, but it was like I was in the middle of a huge argument. The arguments flared up over past grievances, and honestly, it was just so exhausting. By the end of the dinner, my mom stormed out again, declaring that she wouldn't attend the wedding. I was just left in shock as my dad and Ivy tried to comfort me. Days went by and the wedding planning continued, but the tension was still there. I decided to focus on other aspects of the wedding, trying to keep things light, but it was hard. Then during a fitting for my dress, I got a call from my mom. She said she'd thought about it and wanted to come to the wedding after all, but then she dropped the news that she couldn't be in the same room as Ivy. Like, really? This conflict has escalated into a huge decision that was impacting my wedding, so now I'm stuck with this decision on my hands. I have to figure out what's best for my day. Edit: my mom called me the day after the dinner and apologized for her behavior. She explained that she felt hurt and neglected because she didn't think I valued our relationship. We talked it out, and she agreed to come to the wedding. However, she insisted on not being in the same room as Ivy. Am I the idiot for leaving my boyfriend after he treated our relationship like a one-sided chore chart? I've been with my boyfriend for 4.5 years, and I've recently come to the tough realization that he can't be the partner I need or deserve. I love him deeply. He's kind, loyal, and never the type to cheat, but he lacks the maturity and awareness that are so important in a relationship. We're in the same career and make about the same amount of money, but I've always been the one handling 90% of the household work. Chores, laundry, cooking, taking care of our pets, everything. About a year ago, we agreed that he would pay more in rent for all the housework, and at the time, I thought that would make things feel more balanced. But after a deep conversation with a friend and some insights from my new therapist, I've realized the problem goes deeper. He doesn't communicate. When I try to talk about my feelings, he listens but has nothing to say. When I ask for help around the house, he claims he doesn't know how to clean like I do and expects me to tell him exactly what to do, like I'm the manager of our home. He also doesn't put thought into special occasions unless I tell him what I want, whether it's for my birthday, Christmas, or anything else. For example, for my 30th birthday, we took an international trip I'd dreamed of for years. I planned the entire thing, and on my birthday, we stayed in a castle that I planned. His gift to me was just paying me back for the cost of the room. A lot has happened over the years, but what stands out the most is how he fails to notice that I'm struggling emotionally. I've been going through a rough time, and it's like he doesn't even see it, or me. The hardest part of all this is learning that our friends have been seeing these issues too. They've been hoping either he would change or I'd realize what was going on, and that was pretty humiliating to hear. Has anyone else gone through something like this? How did you heal and move forward? We also have a big international trip planned for November with non-refundable tickets. I'm trying to see how we could possibly salvage this. To add, I have talked to him multiple times over the years. He has made some adjustments, but then will fall back into his routine. I've even had his best guy friend speak to him once, as he too felt it needed to be done, which he did listen to more than my own points at the time. But I don't think it should take an outside source to realize your partner's feelings are valid. I've made a chore list previously to show him what needs to be cleaned, but unfortunately, that did not work out either. I must also reiterate that we work roughly the same number of hours, and I'm also currently in an accelerated postgraduate program. I am also doing 90% of the grocery shopping, meal planning, meal prepping, and I pack his lunch and make him breakfast before work. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not me, but a friend. He did everything for his wife. He was their sole earner. He bought the house, the cars, and the motorcycles. He funded several attempts for her to start businesses. He cooked, cleaned, and being handy, constantly remodeled and improved things when she wanted. And she complained endlessly that it wasn't enough. The breakup was complicated because they were married. He even had to take out a loan to buy her out of the house. He was both saddened and shocked when friend after friend expressed relief and happiness for him. Anger as they learned more details about her being such a demanding mooch. It's about time, was the prevailing sentiment, and we were all grateful they don't have children. Perhaps most important is that breaking free allowed him the healing and space to meet his perfect match. He remarried a couple of years later, and that was about a decade ago. Comment 2. There is no secret or trick to breaking up. Just remember that you don't have to defend or justify your decision. It's your decision alone, and there's nothing he can do about it. If you want to do an exit interview, you can to try to help him be better for his next relationship. Other than that, it sucks and it's hard, and the best way is to just be direct and as kind as you can be. Don't argue about it. Do it in public with a friend available as backup if you need to. It doesn't sound like he has red flags for domestic violence, just that he expects you to be his mommy. Life will get easier when you only have to care for yourself. Time will heal. At some point, you don't know when, but usually in a couple of months, you will feel ready to start dating again. There's no trick except self-love and self-care. Now, for the update. The day after the whole trip planning discussion, I'm at home just thinking about everything. I'm like, okay, I gotta get my life together. So I decide to clean the house. Of course, my boyfriend is just chilling on the couch, playing video games like he always does. I'm cleaning for hours, and I look over, and he hasn't even moved, still on the couch. I try to bring up the chores again, and he just shrugs it off, saying he had a long day at work. Well, so did I, but here I am cleaning up after him. I let out this huge sigh and start making dinner while he's still on the couch, not even offering to help. I'm just done with it all. So a week goes by, and we go to a friend's birthday party together. I'm hoping we could have a good time, but no. During the party, he's glued to his phone, and I'm just standing there, trying to engage him in conversation, but he's acting all disinterested. It's so obvious his attention is elsewhere. I actually overhear him laughing with his friends about some dumb video game, and I'm standing right there. It hurts, you know? My friend comes over and suggests we talk about our relationship again, and honestly, I'm not looking forward to it. The next day, my boyfriend casually mentions he wants to go to a gaming convention next month. I'm like, really? You're just gonna drop that on me? I confront him after dinner about how he's prioritizing this convention over our plans. It's ridiculous. He argues that the convention is important to him and that I should be more supportive. Really? More supportive? I'm tired of supporting everything while he sits there and does nothing. So, I decide to take a break from all the arguing and drama, and I spend the weekend with my family. We have a barbecue, and my parents ask about my relationship. They can see how unhappy I am. My mom suggests I deserve a partner who meets my needs, and I'm just sitting there thinking, yeah, I do. The next week, I surprise my boyfriend with a date night at a restaurant he enjoys. I'm trying to be nice and work on things. During dinner, I bring up our upcoming trip and how I really need him to cooperate with me. I'm hoping he'll be serious about this, but he just brushes it off, saying he'll follow my lead. So basically, he's saying he's not going to do anything. I'm just so frustrated. I realize I need to take a more serious approach, so I write down a list of relationship goals. Yeah, I know, it sounds cheesy, but I'm desperate. I present this list to him, hoping for a real discussion about it. Instead, he laughs and says he doesn't do lists. Like, are you kidding me right now? He just dismisses all my efforts. That evening, I find out he's been playing games instead of working on his own projects. I'm over here trying to improve our relationship, and he's just screwing around. I confront him about it, and he argues that I'm being dramatic and insists he's doing his best. His best? This is his best? I'm done with the drama. At this point, I start planning a solo getaway to recharge and really think about my future. I just need some time away from all of this. A few days before my trip, I find out he's made plans with his friends for the same weekend. I'm like, seriously? When I talk to him about the conflict, he brushes it aside, saying he didn't think I'd care. Of course, I care. So, I start using this time apart to focus on my own interests and hobbies. I get involved in this local community group that aligns with my passions, and it feels so good. At the first meeting, I meet someone who shares similar interests and values, and it feels like a breath of fresh air. I've been discreetly planning a final confrontation with my boyfriend. I know I have to lay everything out, just so there are no misunderstandings. I prepare for this talk, knowing it might be the end. During the confrontation, I clearly state that I can't continue this relationship without real change. He just gives me defensive remarks, not even acknowledging my needs. Finally, I decide enough is enough. I'm done with all of this. I tell him I'm moving out. It's over. To answer a few questions, I want to clarify my boyfriend's reaction when I told him I was moving out. He seemed shocked and upset, claiming he didn't see this coming. I reminded him how many times I tried to discuss our issues, but he brushed them off. He then asked if I really wanted to throw away our 4-year relationship, and I responded that I didn't want to throw it away, but I also didn't want to keep it as it was. Am I the idiot for expecting my boyfriend to care for me after I nursed him back to health? I have been with my boyfriend for about 2 years now. We have lived together for about a year, and for the past year, I have done the majority of the housework. About 3 months ago, my partner was in the hospital for over a week because of an illness he has that could possibly cause cancer. I had to push him to go since he doesn't like doctors, but he was very sick, so I made him go. When I did everything for him. I drove 40 minutes there and back home every day. I took a whole week off work to be with him. I made him home-cooked meals. I'd leave at 7 a.m. and not be home until 10 p.m. I brought him anything he asked for, including my video games and laptop. I'd buy him food when he didn't want hospital food. I brought him clean clothes, I helped him shower, and I helped him walk. I sat by his bed every day without fail for over 12 hours a day. I cleaned the whole house, so when he got home, the house was spotless, and he had home-cooked meals for days afterward. I helped him shower, I made the bed with fresh sheets, and I even helped him get dressed. He's been put on medication, and over the past month has done a lot better, and throughout the 5 to 6 months of him being ill, I constantly did everything for him. Now he's gradually getting better. About 2 weeks ago, I broke a bone in my foot. I'm in a lot of pain, I can't walk on my foot, and I'm out of work yet again, since my job involves standing and a lot of walking. I assumed since he's doing a lot better because he's now on the right medication that he'd be taking care of me like I did for him. But no. I hardly asked for anything, but one night I asked him to cook me vegetables and chicken, and he complained and said, "Can't you have 2-minute noodles? I don't want to cook." Now I understand he works too, but he works from home, and his job isn't stressful or hard because he plays video games and goes off to do other things mid-work. I asked nicely again, and he said no. I actually had to sit there and convince and beg him to cook because I wanted a proper meal, and it's almost impossible to stand on one leg to cook. He eventually did, but I had to sit out there and be with him while he cooked. It's like he needs me to hold his hand with everything. Anytime I ask for something to eat, he wants me to be in the kitchen with him, so I have to hop into the kitchen and back to bed once he's done. He's done nothing around the house. There were towels still on the line from when I broke my bone and clothes. Dishes were everywhere, and I got to the point where my obsessive-compulsive disorder was getting worse. The dishes, dirty floors, animals not fed, clothes not folded, towels on the line, towels not folded and put away, cat toys everywhere because he hasn't picked them up, cat litter not cleaned, sheets hadn't been changed, and he complained any time I'd ask for food that wasn't 2-minute noodles, takeout, or macaroni and cheese. I couldn't really shower for long because my leg would have shooting pains, and I had to sit down, so my shower would be 5 minutes at most. He hasn't done anything, and when I confronted him about it, he didn't listen. He changed the sheets, then left them in the washing machine for 2 days, didn't do the comforter, only emptied the dishwasher once, then refilled it, and left the rest in the sink. So I went out there and started doing the dishes myself. He came out and was like, "What are you doing?" "The dishes," since he's not able to. He snapped and went off at me. I hopped up to the gaming room, and he lost it. He said I'm only going to complain about the fact I had to do it with a broken foot, He said he was going to do it. He screamed at me, called me a spaz and a stupid idiot, a witch, an offensive term for a person with a disability. Horrible things. I started crying and went back to the room. He didn't come and check on me. I ended up leaving in my car as soon as I could. I didn't want to stay there and be spoken to like that. We haven't really spoken since. I'm so upset. Why doesn't he care for me like I do for him? Why is everything so hard for him? Am I asking too much? I wish I had never broken my foot and I would have just been able to do it all myself, and I never would have been upset. Does anyone have any advice? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Baby, you should be so grateful you broke your foot so you could see this side of him. So many women find out after marriage or kids, and they are stuck, vulnerable, and suffering. Look up the statistics. Men leave their wives 6 times more often in cases of life-threatening illness. Your foot is going to heal. You aren't married, no kids together, and you're gainfully employed. Get out now. This is your chance. You will deeply regret not taking it, trust me. Comment 2. He is showing you how he will treat you when you are not well. We expect the people we love to treat us the way we treat them. You are more giving in this relationship. It hasn't been reciprocated, and that hurts. Take a good, hard look at this relationship. Now for the update. My parents were really worried about me, so about a week after I left my boyfriend, I went to their house for dinner. I mean, they're my parents, of course they're going to be worried. They can barely get a hold of me on the phone. Anyway, when I got there, my mom made her famous lasagna, which honestly made me feel a bit better. It's super comforting, you know? I love that stuff. My dad asked how I was doing, and I said I was getting by. What else could I say? Life's a mess, but I'm not eating ramen 3 times a day, so I guess I'm okay. My younger sister, Kate, kept asking about my boyfriend. It was kinda annoying, honestly. I mean, I left him, he didn't leave me, but she just kept asking about him. Like, girl, seriously? I avoided answering her and kept changing the subject to the lasagna. I'm sure my mom would appreciate that I was talking about her cooking instead of crying into my plate. During dinner, I got a text from him asking if we could talk. I totally ignored it. I was still feeling all kinds of upset from our last fight. Honestly, what was there to talk about? He was a jerk, and I didn't have time for jerks right now. I was trying to enjoy my mom's cooking. After dinner, my dad suggested we play board games. He always does that when he thinks we're feeling down. We played Monopoly, and my brother Jake joked about me needing a partner. I laughed and said I was fine on my own. I kinda was. I mean, Monopoly's not too hard to play by yourself if you have to. I got curious about my phone and checked it, and oh boy, there were more texts from my boyfriend. I opened one and saw a picture of him with another woman. They were at our favorite restaurant, and she was smiling like she just hit the jackpot. I showed the picture to my sister, and she gasped. I mean, I gasped too when I first saw it. Kate suggested I confront him about it, but I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. I decided to go home and figure things out. I just needed a little time alone. When I got home, he was sitting on the couch and looked surprised to see me. Like, buddy, you didn't expect me to come back after seeing you with another girl? I asked him about the picture, and he started stammering, saying it was just a friend from work. A friend? From work? At our restaurant? Get real. I pointed out the restaurant and asked him how he could be so clueless, and he got all defensive, raising his voice and saying I was overreacting. Overreacting? Okay, sure, buddy. I picked up my phone and showed him the picture again, and guess what? He tried to snatch the phone from my hand, but missed. I mean, maybe he should have tried a little harder. I walked out, feeling the tension rise in the room. I went to my best friend's house for support because I needed to talk to someone who actually liked me. She suggested I take some time apart to think, but honestly, I just wanted to pack up some stuff and be done with this. I found a card from him hidden under the couch, and it was for our anniversary. I was so mad that I found it there. I mean, come on, dude. I found a box of his things and started packing it up. I included the anniversary card and wrote my own note saying I deserved better. I left the box on the porch with a note saying he could pick it up when he was ready. So generous of me, right? I went back to my parents' house and told them everything. They were shocked and supportive. offering to help me move on. My mom literally got up and made me a lasagna, which I thought was sweet. I got a text from him asking where his stuff was, and I replied saying it was on the porch, along with everything else. I mean, come on, what else did he expect? He texted back, furious about the note, and I told him I wasn't interested in talking anymore. A few hours later, he showed up at my parents' house, demanding to speak with me. My dad answered the door and told him to leave, and I watched from the window as he argued with my dad. It was kind of funny, honestly. My dad stood firm, and my ex was just getting angrier by the second. I felt a little bad, but not really. I spent the rest of the night playing games with my family, and it was exactly what I needed. It felt good to just relax and not deal with drama for a few hours. The next day, I started looking for a new apartment because I needed my own space. I mean, I had to get out of there, especially after everything that happened. Time to start over, right? To answer a few questions, my boyfriend and I had been together for 2 years, living together for about a year. The picture he sent me was from a restaurant we frequented, which made it more hurtful. I didn't bring up the other woman in my confrontation because I needed time to process the whole situation. My parents live about an hour away, and visiting them helped me feel supported. I left my boyfriend's things on the porch because I didn't want to see him. Moving out is my next step, and I plan to find a new apartment soon. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.